There again, Lancaster's still on this team. Redmond's still on this
Yeah.
team. They, they have not shown me that they have the ability. They show me flashes of it, and again, they can speak it, but actions always speak louder than words. And my litmus test is not being able to beat the Panthers. It's not at home when you're comfortable against the Lions in a division game. Okay, it's it's on the road when the pressure's on in an important game that holds your playoff future and the ability to look everybody as a team, look yourselves in the mirror and say, yeah, we got bigger balls than those guys. And they still can't say that. Period. It's not a
49ers and
horrible thing. It's
Seahawks.
not a horrible thing, but they're not able to say that.
49ers and the Seahawks have been the Achilles heel for this decade for this team.
Mm-hmm.
It's those two teams. It's always been those two teams in the regular season or the postseason. Doesn't matter which part of it. It's always been there. It doesn't matter where we've played either. If we played at Lambeau, if we've played at freaking Seattle at Candlestick or Levi Stadium, we've
But
always gotten our bell rung.
can I make a quick observation?
Go ahead, brother.
Those two teams, what's the difference in their players to our players?
They have quality depth.
Ah, look here, here's Javi.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Javi?
Trying to pick
Oh,
myself off the floor from this 38 or 37 to 8 shellacking.
listen.
Welcome, Javi.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on.
yeah, no problem.
Congratulations on your team winning.
That was
Hey,
a shellacking. That was not what I expected for sure.
this is going to prove a lot of haters wrong about the 49ers because they just whooped on a 8-2 team that a lot of people were hyping up.
Yeah, it's like we talked about. What was it, Friday? We talked about it on Friday. The Niners. The whole narrative was the Niners have to go through all these tough teams, but at the same time, these really good teams still have to play a really good Niner team, and that was being kind
Hmm.
of swept under the rug. And on national television, you saw why the Niners are so good: their defensive line, their pass rush, and then you got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan. He realized, listen, you can't block Zadarius Smith with a rookie like Justin School. He replaced him as soon as he could and changed it out, and that's when everything
I thought they
switched.
were going to do it
The
right
off-
after that first drive.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I thought they were going to do it right after that first drive.
Oh yeah,
Not the one on the 2 yard line, but like that first drive where Zadarius literally curled him around so fast and almost got the Jimmy on the first drive, first play of that second drive. I was like, oh my God. And it just kept going for a couple more drives. I'm like, are they going to replace this kid?
yeah. He's been really good all season. Today was not his day. But that's he's a rookie. There was things that Zadarius is a good player, and I'm on my Twitter a lot timeline is what happened to the Niners offensive line. Like other teams have good players, and the Packers have two really good pass rushers. Surprise everybody, and we talked about it on Friday. Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, they could have had 5, 6, 7 sacks tonight had they kept School in there. But Kyle Shanahan made a good decision, replaced him with Daniel Brunskill, and they was off to the races after that. Um, I was very surprised. The number that surprised me the most was the 81 total pass yards. That was allowed. That was surprising in
Yep.
this game. How are you guys feeling about LaFleur's game plan? Not changing anything, sticking with it?
Well, we were actually
Oh,
just
take this
having
whole game plan and scrap it tonight. That's
It's
just
it's
it's
the
garbage.
it's the Javi. I don't know how much you paid attention to the season, but there's three losses, and all three of the losses have the common theme, and those three losses this season, unfortunately for Packers fans, are the same thing in common they've had even when Mike McCarthy was the coach.
Hmm.
They can beat the above average, and I'm talking offense versus defense here, because the defense, I feel like even tonight they proved that they gave that offense more than enough chances to get their asses going and get in this game and make it a game. You know what I mean? And the offense failed them on several occasions, including a first drive where I felt Aaron Rodgers was being very selfish and trying to fight for to continue a play that was going nowhere with 4 guys that had different colored jerseys than him around. Like I told Dave, there is a rule. Do the Brady Manning and fall to the ground, punt the damn ball, and don't screw your defense by giving up the ball on the 4-yard line on your own end zone. Like, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, the commonality here is they're a good team. They can be really good. But when this offense faces the elite, great to elite defenses, it's the same thing. They're sub 200 yards passing or worse, sometimes sub 100. There's usually 2 or 3 turnovers, mostly by Aaron Rodgers. And although they might, and this is the funny thing, everybody praises Aaron Rodgers here so much about his lack of interceptions, but in all these losses against these defenses, he fumbles the ball an awful lot.
Yeah.
Well, so what the hell's the difference? I would rather have you throw a 50-yard interception that they tackle him 5 yards after you. That's like a long punt. Than fumble the damn ball the way he does. See, so he is not turnover adverse as everybody wants to make him out to be. It's that a quarterback is not judged so harshly about his fumbles if he's upper echelon elite like Aaron Rodgers is. They do that and tease the guys like Mark Sanchez about fumbling the ball all the time or young players.
Yeah.
Well, it's the truth, is it not?
No,
I mean,
yeah.
Am I not being real and subjective here, Javi, as a guy that, you know?
No, you are. That's fair. That's a fair criticism. You know, he's been known to fumble the ball and give it up, and you put his defense in a tough position. You know, you fumble right there, the Niners get it, and you score right away. You know, the Niners were off to the races right after that. Once that happened, it was go time for the Niners, and for them to just pin their ears back on defense the way they did. And they played so much single high. They showed the Niners were kind of disrespectful on defense. They just played single high all game and said, go ahead, Aaron, try to beat us. And they just couldn't do it. It was pretty remarkable to see the Niners defense be that way. And, Keller Witherspoon comes in for Emmanuel Mosley, plays fairly well. Sherman did his thing. Fred Warner is a linebacker, 11 tackles, forced fumble, sack. He's been killing it the last couple of weeks. It was just a dominant performance by the Niners, and I was not expecting that kind of performance. I was expecting a close game, like we talked about on Friday. This was not expected at all.
Well, it's another one of those games. I think Packers going in the bye week after Carolina smelt themselves a little too much again. Sad to say, but. Yeah, they think, okay, well, they just beat Carolina. They, at the time, were a winning record team, and they got off the high. I think that they stopped them on the 1-yard line on the last play of the game. So I think that carried over into the bye week, kind of got high on themselves a little bit, and then the first play of that Packers offense where Devontae Adams took it and had that personal foul, just set the tempo. Like it just bumped it, like you just got 15 yards back. Like it just set the tempo for the game for them and was really off the entire game. There was no, and hey, Jay and I just talked about this with you Friday, and he brought this up. 4 phases of Rodgers. You guys got Mr. Rogers' neighborhood tonight. He just ho-hum going along with the offense, and that's exactly what Jay brought up earlier before he came on, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it was. The bad thing about this game though were the penalties, and that penalty on Adams was, Bushley. That was just a terrible call. There was no reason for them to call that. That was dumb. That was
Adams still made his way to go bump him with his chest, though. That's the thing. He still made his way to go do it.
Yeah. 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 Hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, do you? Yeah, we talked about on Friday the whole, force Jimmy Garoppolo to beat you, and that's exactly what the Packers tried to do, and then Jimmy Garoppolo beat you. There's that whole common there's that common misconception of Jimmy Garoppolo just can't get it done, but you give him his full list of weapons: George Kittle, Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel. He's gonna make things happen. And give him a little bit of protection like any quarterback would need in the pocket. He might just take it apart. And we saw that tonight. Again, I did not expect this. We talked about it on Friday. But
Yeah.
George Kittle being back, it was a game changer. Him in the run game, pass protection. George is an X factor. Um, it's. I tell you what, I woke up this morning, watched a whole bunch of terrible football games just to wait for this one, and I'm gonna go to bed happy. So I'll tell you that.
I got to go to work tomorrow, and everyone knows I'm a Packers fan. They're gonna be like, "Dave, what happened?" But see, a lot of them I work with are Cowboys fans, so they
They
can't
can't
say a
say
damn
much.
thing.
No, there's not much to say there. That Cowboys game was terrible. Eagles game was terrible. The Pittsburgh Cincinnati game was terrible. It was just a bad day of football. Um,
I haven't seen Philly look this bad in a while, and Carson Wentz. It in my mind, did Philly keep the wrong QB?
I think they kept the wrong coach.
Oh,
Frank Reich is the guy in Indy, and you see what he does with lower level talent, and they
yeah,
you know they can move the ball fairly well. Frank Reich
I
leaves,
like
he's
that
kind of
take. I like
diminished.
it.
it's I